Thank you everyone for coming today to attend the STARS Forum webinar. My name is Chaitanya Narkani and I am the Executive Director for STARS Forum. Uh, Quite a few names that I see are people familiar who have attended STARS Forum events in the past, but I also see quite a few who are uh, probably for the first time or may not have interacted with STARS Forum in the past. So I'll just spend a couple of minutes giving you a very quick overview of STARS, and then we will start with the webinar. So STARS is a organization which was set up about 10 years back by professionals from the rural development space, predominantly focused on skill requirements of rural India, innovation that's applicable in the rural context, appropriate technology development, entrepreneurship development, and so on. And the need for doing the entire Indian context, the organized industry has had a much better access to skills and skills training and so on and so forth, including government support and organizations like NSDC, Skills India Mission, and so on. But we have a very large population in the informal sector, in the unorganized sector, in the agriculture sector, largely residing in rural India. And we believe that their productivity, their skills, their knowledge is equally important and needs to be addressed with the same degree of vigor and energy. And that is the objective for about behind stars being set up. I have had this slide in front, projected. I hope that you have been able to read it while we were waiting. Uh, the mission is basically of STARS is that we create a platform that enables people to connect with each other, that enables organizations to find collaborations, opportunities for collaboration, conceptualize new ways of working together and working in a more productive manner. Uh, Very important part of what we do is support innovation and the use of technology and how we can take this innovation to a large number of people. And you would probably be interested that this is one of those webinars which is fitting right in that part of our mission. We also help our organizations by building capacity. There's a lot of knowledge sharing that happens within our affiliate member community organizations who are associated with stars. And one of the other important things that we want to do is to support and help create future leaders in this sector. A lot of young people are coming into the development space, and we want to make sure that we give them the environment, the access to expertise, and so on. Do visit our website starsforum.org. If your organization is involved in any of this kind of work, we would be happy to have you as an affiliate member. There are no fees. This is a peer network, so just be part of it. The only thing that we seek is share what you know and seek and reach out to others in this network and use this network for uh, doing a much more effective work at whatever you're doing. So that is the objective behind stars forum. With that I'll just spend a couple of minutes introducing our speakers and the webinar for today. 1 minute. So before we begin, just a couple of points for everybody in the audience. Uh, we will be recording this webinar as we are speaking, and we will be uploading this on Stars Forum YouTube channel in a day or two. So if you want to have a look at it again, or if you want others in your organization to look it up, please have them visit our YouTube channel and take a look at this. Uh, I'm presuming many of you are familiar with interaction on webinars, but just in case there is you will see a Q&A button at the top left and a raise hand button. So if you have any questions, please type your question out in the Q&A button. We'll make sure that during the course of the webinar or at the end we will come to these questions and have them answered. And if you want to speak with the presenters, please press the raise hand button as well. But we'll try and do that towards the end once the presentation flow is completed, and that's the so we get enough opportunities for an interaction with the speakers as well. So with that, let me straight away introduce you to the webinar topic and the speakers of today. Um, Many of you who are involved in the rural development sector or are being watching what's going on today, you're quite familiar with the kind of disruption that has come about because of the COVID-19 situation. Um, and there's increasing expectation that NREGA would play an important role in the coming for multiple reasons. It will provide much needed cash, work, employment support for people who are desperately in situations where there's no work. For a lot of people who have moved back to their villages, there's a need to employ them productively. That is one important timely thing that we are looking at. But more importantly also, this is also the time when a lot of natural resource related work can happen, and in the months preceding the monsoon, a lot of activity like this is likely to take place. So we felt that if we are able to help this kind of work in today's time, it may contribute to doing a much better job. And it is in that context that we reached out to the Foundation for Ecological Security, an organization that has been doing wonderful work in a range of natural resource management activities in this country. I think they've been working in almost 24,000 villages across 31 districts in 8 cities, working at various levels with village communities, in common land restoration, wastelands, forest lands, different kinds of grazing lands, and so on. And one of the great things that I learned more recently about Foundation for Ecological Security is that they have developed some wonderful tools that people can actually use. Tools that will bring the best in terms of satellite imaging, GIS, geospatial information, and they've created tools that can help each one of us focus on our region where we are actually working, and then use those tools for the benefit of doing this restoration kind of work. So I thought it was a very useful thing that we should introduce these tools, and I want to thank profusely my friends and our friends from FES, Mr. Satyajit Jina from Yavatmal, Mr. Chiranjit Guha, Mr. Rajesh Verma, and so on, Sham Davandeji, and so on, for accepting our request to please come and demonstrate and talk about these tools with us. So that is the broad context, and I'm very happy that a large number of people have shown interest in this topic. So before I hand over, a very quick introduction to our speakers of today. We have Mr. Chiranjit Guha and Mr. Rajesh Verma, who are both experts from FES, who are going to talk about some of the tools that they have developed and the ideas behind that and so on. Mr. Guha is a applied geologist from IIT Roorkee and has been working with FES since 2004. He has been leading the water conservation works in the organization, and importantly, he has also been leading the India Observatory Initiative of FES. Do look it up. They have a wonderful website. Mr. Chiranjit Guha has been involved in building many user-friendly nature conservation-related tools. One important one, which we are going to talk about, CLART, and crop water budgeting, and so on. And I think one of the passions that he has talked about is his interest in demystifying science and technology for resource management, and give these tools in the hands of the village people. So thank you so much, Chiranjit ji. Rajesh Verma ji from our other speaker, again a colleague of Mr. Chiranjit Guha. Rajesh ji is a civil engineer from North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. He has been working with FES since 2006, and as a civil engineer professional, he has almost 20 years of experience in watershed management. He has been leading soil and water conservation works for FES. He too has been involved in building some very important tools, particularly the design and cost estimation tools. He too is very interested in making sure that we develop the capacity, the technical skills of rural cadre who are working in watershed development, and giving them access to this kind of latest tools and technologies. So I think, with this, I would like to invite Mr. Chiranjit Guha to take over. Chiranjit ji, I will make you the presenter so that you can share your screen and start your presentation. Can you hear me, Chiranjit ji?
Yes. I
Wonderful.
just share my screen. Can you just confirm me that you are able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Chaitanya ji, for introducing us and giving this opportunity to describe about the India Observatory program and the tools that we prepared. Today, along with me, my colleagues Satyajit Jaina and Rajesh Barmaji are also here to take you through this entire observatory initiative that we have already built and how this can be useful for different natural resource management kind of program in terms of water, land, in your social security entitlements and data supports. So this program has been envisaged in the organization some 10-15 years back. Fortunately, we were one of the NGO who got the facility of GIS and remote sensing during late 90s when the Canadians and Swedish people introduced us the GIS facility and they trained us, they gifted us some softwares. And what we have done at that time, we have archived different kind of spatial data. Those are for like something like census data, the district, state, village, block boundaries, linked with the boundaries with the different kind of attribute data of census and other informations available across the country. And then we just prepared this database and archived in a systematized way so that for any kind of requirement, people can prepare the map. Earlier, we used to use this kind of information only for internal uses, but for the last 10 years, we understood that we need a larger platform where actually we can take this entire data set out for the people. The observatory, the objective, it's basically it aims to demystify and present the comprehensive informations on India's different social informations, ecological and economic parameters into a single platform, which is a spatial and temporal platform for informed decisions making on nature conservation, natural resource management, and that actually aims to the enhancement of rural livelihoods. So this is basically an action-oriented initiative, and the most important part of this entire initiative is the collaborative approach, because we know that we are not a research organization, but we are trying to bring the science, bring the data, information, tools, and technology together into a single spatial platform where people can use these informations for better decision making at the village level. So it is not that we have developed everything, it is the collaborative approach. So any organizations, any institutions, suppose a university has built up a tool, but that is basically specifically for an entire country. But now what we have done, we have put the data, more granular data into it and make it simplified and make it available to the village people in a user-friendly manner so that they can take the best decision based on this information system. So the challenges that if you all know that in these days the lack of evidence-based development interventions in the country, because there are data, maybe it's inadequate data or maybe adequate data is available, but they all are in silos. Something like if you have groundwater data collected from Central Groundwater Board, that data does not talk to the census information because they are some separate silos. These two departments or two organizations or two institutions who are developing this data are not necessarily talking to each other. So that is one of the agenda that we tried this information system to bring out as a in the public platform, because we need to have all these interdisciplinary sciences to talk to each other. So one side is the social data, second is the economic informations, and third is the ecological informations. Unless and until these three kinds of data talking to each other, it's very difficult to have a holistic view of a particular landscape or a particular village to go for a better decisions for natural resource management kind of activities. At the same time, the village communities, you all know that here they are the passive recipients instead of the being at the center of the decisions making. Just Chaitanya ji was mentioning, the NREGA is one of the best uh, project that government of India has. But the NREGA Act itself is saying that the plans and programs need to be developed from the village people. But village people generally do all these things based on their intuitive knowledge. What we are trying that we have to supplement or maybe complement this intuitive knowledge with the existing data, existing science and existing technology, so that with the local knowledge, if the scientific informations can be clubbed together, then a better decisions can be taken from the village level. And we also know there are absence of this kind of platform which actually taking the local and external knowledges together. So to address these challenges, we have prepared this India Observatory. So these initiatives are actually bifurcated in three separate classes. One is for developing tools for natural resource management and livelihood initiative. Second is the enhancing the data access for wider civic engagement. And third is the disturb the present system. That is the influencing ecosystem for disrupting status quo. So we have prepared different tools targeting in these three different sectors. So these are very basically acronyms. That's the CLART, GEET, CWB. These are basically different name of the tools. Just for example, CLART. CLART is the full name is Composite Landscape Assessment and Restorations Tool. GEET is the GIS enabled entitlement tracking. CW is crop water budgeting. DET is design estimate tool. By this way, these different tools have been prepared or maybe have been taken from other organizations with full attribute, and then we put them into the single platform so that people can use it for their better understanding of an area and better decision making at the field level. Today we will discuss about the data platform, CLART, and design estimate tool. But if in future if you need more help, more inquiry about these tools, you can just reach to us for any kind of support. So this is the three different kinds of initiative under the India Observatory program, and this is the data set that we have in the open source. So this is completely accessible in the platform that I will show you after some time. So we have bifurcated data into three sets. One is the India database we call. That is basically the spatial data where we have the boundary polygon of all the states, districts, blocks, panchayat and the villages. And these boundary are geocoded boundary. That means you can actually overlay all this all these boundaries on any kind of remote sensing images or the Google map or whatever the base map available there. This boundary are linked with different kind of non-spatial data also, like the census information from 1991, 2001, 2011, and these are nearly 1700 plus categories of information that is available in this platform. On the second part, we have the big spatial data. This is one of the data that been published by different scientific agencies like NASA, European agencies, and these are basically remotely sensed data by satellites. And these are some leaf area index, the vegetation index. So, and these are some are 8 days, 15 days, 16 days, 20 days, 30 days interval data. So, from 2001 to 2011 or 2017, how the vegetation index is changing over a period of time or period of interval. So you can get all these informations at the single platform. So you can easily get to know, okay, from 2001 there was less greenness, less vegetations available, but 2017 the greenness gets higher or the water level changes. So these are the different informations that is available in this big spatial data. And thirdly, we have also the informations on India biodiversity information system, that is basically on 30,000 taxons of birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and angiosperm flora, that is the flowering plants. So all these informations are all available under a single platform. So suppose you are an amateur in bird watching, but you don't know what is the name of the bird. You can actually identify the bird by using this platform, and then get to know last 200 years records of that bird species, all the detail in that particular platform. And these are the different tools, as I was mentioning, are
Chiranjit ji,
available.
sorry
Yes,
to interrupt, Chiranjit ji. Can you have that stop sharing, the small window now at the bottom? Can
yes,
you
yes,
please
yes.
press that hide so that yeah, yeah, wonderful.
I did
Thank
it.
you,
I did.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you. So as I was mentioning, these are the different tools either targeting to the water sector or the land sector or for the livelihood entitlement, or can be a data support system also. And these tools have been planned in such a way that either it is helping in planning or implementations or monitoring or evaluations. So these are the different tools. We will describe some 2 or 3 tools today. Uh, So the first, I just want to describe the data platform. So you can actually see, as I was mentioning, that there are different sets of data available. So how to see this data? I will take you to the internet here directly. So this is the indiaobservatory.org.in is the URL from where you can log into this website. So here the data platform is available. You can click here. It will take you to the platform directly. This is a credential based platform to monitor that who are using, and also to secure the environment so that no malicious activity should be attack the platform. So but you can actually register here by putting your name and mobile number, and then you can access the platform here. Just for example, putting here the user ID and password, I'm now entering into the platform itself, where you can see the entire India map here. And then here you can see, here is the options available: select region, add data layers, compare layers, report preparations, different analytics, trends, and export map. Select region will actually take you, like just for example, I am taking you to the Gujarat today. In the Gujarat, since I am sitting in Anand, I am putting Anand here. Maybe in Anand block, I can select the panchayat, or I can select the village also. So based on that, if I do that thing, then it will directly take me to my location in the India. And then I can add the different data layers. These layers are either social data or environmental data or economic data. So I have the economic data informations here. I have the environmental informations or the social informations available here. So just for example, like I want to see the populations data uh, based on the average household data, that is average household size in 2011. I can get to know that here the population, the average household is greater than 5.5, or it is 5 to 5.5. And then I can add more layers from this particular data layer section. Then I can actually compare two different windows, and I can put a same data. Just for example, like if I put here the let me take this environmental data here, then I'm taking the vegetation data here and maybe the NDVI, which is 16 days interval data. Then these layers will be propagated into the two side by side section, and then I can change the date from here. Like this date is showing me this is 18th February 2002, and then I want to see what is happening in 2016, and then the right side map will be changed. It may take some few seconds because of the uh, size of the data, but you can now see that less greenness now became the dark greenness over a period of time. So this kind of comparisons you can also do by using this platform. This is from this can be scalable. It presently you are seeing it as a country level, but you can select your region from here also, and then you can comparatively analyze the screen and can get to know what is the changes happened between this period of time. So this is one. Then we also have report generations. Since I have already selected a particular region, I can see at a glance report where I get to know how many people are there, what is the SCSC percentage, how many people are educated there, how many schools are available. All these informations can be easily downloadable, can easily be available in this platform and can be downloadable in PDF file. Just for example here, that how many population are there. So these kind of infographical representations are also there, which will be helpful to understand you that what is the situation of your area of interest. Then you also have the analytics sections where you can carry out different analysis in statistical analysis like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, correlations coefficient. All these are possible here. You have to just select the data, and based on that you can actually carry out all these statistical operators, and you can see the trend. You can export the map. So this is overall the overall data platform where you can actually go in more deeper by using this. And I request you, all of you, to after the presentations you can actually go to this platform and can explore it more. And in case if you feel any support is required, we will provide that also. Then I will again take you to the presentation. So this is one tool, as it was mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, that we have prepared some tool. This is one tool is basically helping the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. This tool is called Composite Landscape Assessment and Restorations Tool. In short form, we call it CLART. The rationally, the requirement of this tool is that you all know that or whatever the water conservation measures have been taken under considerations during planning in the field, in the village, they do not consider the local geohydrology, the slope, the land use, land cover, the evapotranspirations kind of data which are available in public domain. The reason is not that the data is not available. The reason is that these data are not readily available in a user-friendly manner. So it's very difficult for a village person to understand that what is the geohydrology over there. Though they have the local knowledge and they consider that, most of the time that is excellent one. But if I just complement that with the existing scientific informations, that would be the best case scenario. So to make that thing happen, we prepared the CLART tool. Also, there is a local variability in the ecological and climatic conditions, which are again are not taken under considerations during the planning processes. Data are available, but the granularity is such questions. So how to get the more granular data for soil and water conservation kind of activity, and then how to demystify these informations in a user-friendly manner, so the people who are using it may not need to understand about the technical nitty-gritty technical features in it. They just need to get the output. Just for example, like if you have a pain on your belly, you go to a doctor and doctor provide you the USG report. That USG report does not make any sense to a person who doesn't know that how to read a USG report. But doctor can understand that, he give you the prescription and medicine. So this tool is actually providing the prescription and medicine based on the scientific informations which may not be understood by a semi-literate or illiterate person, even in the village level. So how to address those things is the answer for this clerk. And at the same time, you know that nearly 60% of the MGNREGA money, that is 70,000 crore per year, which is nearly 40,000 crore, is being spent on soil and water conservation kind of activity, without considering this different kind of data set, different kind of knowledge that is available there. And simultaneously, in the block level, there are lack of engineers available at the government side, so that engineer cannot actually go each and every location to validate the plan. So that is why this tool has been conceptualized in such a way that it provides the location specific informations in your mobile without an internet connection, and that actually enables the village community, village people, to prepare a plan and develop and design an estimate which was supposed to be developed by an engineer. But now, without the engineer or without a technical person, a village person who may be a simulator can also develop this plan. So the idea is that if you can see this animation, you can see that the water, the surface water is flowing from southwest to northeast direction along the slope, along the drainage line. And we have an idea that the groundwater also flows in the same direction. In many cases, this is not true. If I see the aquifer scenario, the groundwater can actually move in some opposite directions also. So the surface water is moving in one direction, groundwater is moving in opposite direction. The reason is that if there is a slope and this is the rain is happening, at the beneath the surface there can be two different kind of rocks. One is the basalt, which is a hard rock, can occur simultaneously with the limestone rocks also. So if there is a rain, water can start flow along the slope, and if I construct a check dam on the basalt rock, the water will remain on the surface and it evaporates out because the hard rock does not allow water to go inside. But if I create the water harvesting structure some 100 meters behind on the limestone rock, then along the fracture which is in opposite directions of the slope, along this fracture the water actually can start flowing inside. So the groundwater will be recharged. So just by 100-meter distance, if I can create the water harvesting structures, the water recharge will be phenomenal rather than making a water harvesting structure on a hard rock. So this kind of considerations is not taken during the planning processes. So the tool will help there. We have used different publicly available data from the open source, which is recharge potential, slope, and land use land cover. Recharge potential has been created with help of geology, geomorphology, watershed, drainage analysis, and the lineament fracture data. Those are available in different public sources like National Remote Sensing Center, Geological Survey of India, Central Groundwater Board. These informations are already available there. What we have done, we have archived everything, and then based on the algorithm, we have prepared or remodified these informations in a system, and then we prepare the recharge potential layers by using the groundwater board norms and the GEC 97 norm. Then we have the slope layer, which has been again a remote sensing data. So this provides the slope of each and every location. We have the land use land cover data has been supplied by National Remote Sensing Center. This is again on open source data, is available in Bhuvan. This is a 5.8 meter resolution lease-for data. So we are using this information and then classifying this information in many ways. Like the recharge potential has been classified in 5 classes. If it is a very high recharge, we are assigning code 5. If it is low recharge, we are assigning as 1. Similarly, slope has been classified in 8 classes and land use in 12 classes. So if you see this number, the 4-digit number, the first digit provides the information about the recharge potential, second digit is for the slope, and last 2 digits for land use land cover. By using these informations, we have classified the entire locations in 480 combinations. Here each and every color represents different kind of recharge potential, slope, and land use land cover. And then what we have done, we have filtered them. If it is a high recharge area, between 3 to 7% of slope, and these are the different land use, there we can actually go for good water recharge structures like percolation stand, check dam, contour trenching, where recharge is highly possible. And these area have been coded in green color. Similarly, yellow color is for the water resting strange, gully plug, loose boulder, check dam kind of activities where moderate recharge structure is possible. And red color is the area where recharge is not possible but the surface water storage is possible. So here, whatever the water will be stored on the surface, it cannot go inside. It will just evaporate out, but that can be used for different kind of activity like uh, farm pond and farm bund, where the critical irrigations can be done with using this color. And if it is a high slopey area, no engineering structure is recommended there. We can go for the regenerations activity like plantations or grass seeding kind of activities. And now we are putting this color into map. You can see here, this is a watershed or in Karnataka in some location, and this different color indicates different kind of interventions. Now what we have done, we have prepared one Android application which works in offline mode, and if this is called CLART. If I click on this particular CLART button, then this map will appear which is geocoded, and the inbuilt GPS in your device will locate you on which color you are standing in the field. As I was mentioning, this does not need any internet connection. Just by only using the inbuilt GPS that is available in 99.99% of the mobile in these days can be used, and it can locate you on which color you are standing, and you get to know that what kind of intervention is required at that particular locations. So we train the village people, and the people can easily operate these applications who is having this Android mobile, which even the low end Android mobile is also supporting this application. So you can just open these applications in the field and can get to know that on which color you are standing and what is the recommendations for that. Then you can fill up a form there. We are giving an option. Once you are filling up this form, then you can upload it into the server once you are coming back to an internet zone, maybe after 30 days, 15 days after your survey of the plan. And then by accessing the portal, you can get to know that how many people have uploaded forms in this particular portal, and the each and every plan that you can download. Like this is the screen, you can see that here you are standing when once you are doing the planning exercise on the particular date. Then there are different sets of questions, that which is the state, which is the district, the block, the name of the panchayat, village, habitation, what is the structure that you have planned, what is the color for there, and any comment that you have generated. You can also take the photograph and can use this for preparing a detailed project report, especially for NREGA program, but also for any other watershed related activities, for making detailed project report or any planning document. So this is about the CLART tool. Now I will request my colleague Rajesh Barmaji to take you through the design estimate tool, where he will tell you that once you are done with the CLART, you have identified a location that I have to create this particular kind of interventions, then how to prepare a design and estimate at the field without taking support of the engineer. Over to Rajesh
Thank you.
Barmaji.
Thank you, Chiranjit. Good evening, all of you. I am going to present about the design and cost estimation app prepared by FES. This is an add-on tool of CLART. Next slide, please. So objective of this tool is to improve the planning process of water conservation and common land restoration works at village level under MGNRIGS and various watershed programs, and also to improve the assessment of person days required at panchayat level, specifically for preparation of labor budgeting under MGNRIGS. And usually preparation of design and cost estimation is a technical skill and usually prepared by an engineer. So FES has demystified this skill so that a rural cadre can prepare design and cost estimate and reduce engineers time and energy. So how we have simplified this cost estimate? Just I am going to explain by a simple example. If someone who don't know how to prepare tea, and if he has to prepare the cost estimate of 100 cup of tea, it would be very difficult task for him. So what we did, an expert of tea preparation provide the information like what are the items needed for preparation up to how much quantity of each item required and what would be the rate of each item. So the person has to only feed the number of cup of tea and the cost estimate is automatically prepared in the Excel format. The same procedure has been we have used for 20 kinds of water conservation works in this app. Next slide. So for downloading this app, anyone can download this app from the FES web portal. The link is as mentioned here, det.fes.org.in, and you can just click on the download button as mentioned in this black circle. Next slide. So installation of this app is similarly as you do for any app from Google Play Store. And after the installation of this app, the app will appear on your mobile screen. Just mention is just like this in this circle. Design and cost estimation app. So for starting this app, you just need to click on the second last button of in this app. Chiranjit, can you show this second last button? Then you need to select the structure for which you are willing to prepare design and cost estimation. So in this 20 list, you have to select one structure for which you want to prepare the cost estimation. Next slide, please. So in this app, three types of input data required. One type is the once in a year, like BSR data, as it changes annually. Second type of data is needed once. The technical specification usually advised by the block engineers. And third category of input data is site specific data like general information of the site, measurement of the structure and about the soil strata. And these are generally filled by the rural cadre only. Next slide. So this is the example of a BSR rate of one of the block of Rajasthan. So similarly, these rates needs to be collected for your block. If anyone want to use, he has to collect the BSR rate of that particular block. Next slide, please. These are the technical specification. These are generally advised by the technical person of the block based on the rainfall, topography and local condition. This is one time entry only in that app. Next slide. So for sending this data from mobile to FES web portal, once the input data filled in the app, the file is saved in the app. So for sending the data from mobile to web portal, one has to click on the last button. Kiran, can you show this last button? So on the last button and need to select the files. Need to click on the send selected button. This is the procedure for sending the data from mobile to FES web portal. Next slide, please. So after sending the input file from mobile, one can download the design and cost estimation from the portal. The user ID and password is mentioned here. Anyone can download the design and cost estimate. So you just need to select your estimate from your name or your phone number and just click on the download button. You will get the Excel based design and cost estimate of that particular structure. Next slide, please. So I am going to display the downloaded Excel based cost estimate. So this the cost estimate will include the basic information of the site, technical specification and GPS coordinate of that particular site. Next slide, please. This will also include the total cost of the work, labor and material ratio, and total man days required. You can see these in the bottom of this sheet. Next slide. And you can also, this Excel sheet also includes the cross section of that particular structure, photograph of the sites, and the CLART map. So thank you. Now my colleague Chiranjit will continue the presentation.
Thank you, Barmaji. So as Barmaji was mentioning, that this design estimate tool is the additional feature in the CLART itself. So once you have selected one of your location, like you are standing in the particular color, you get to know that I have to go for some kind of activity which is basically water harvesting on the surface, not for the recharge purposes. So once you are done with that, then you can take the help of this design estimate tool to prepare the design, the engineering design, the plan section, cross section, and the cost estimate, like how many man days is required, what is the material cost, what would be the labor cost, skilled labor cost, unskilled labor cost. So ideally, this will take a large time for even for an engineer to do that thing. But now the one-time job is there that before going to a field, the person actually can incorporate the basic schedule rate, the BSR, which is actually differentiate from one district to another district. So, and that is annually they change it. So once you are done with that input before going to field, and after then during the planning processes in the field, you have to just put the basic measurement like length, breadth, and width of the plant structure, and then everything will be done at the back end side of the device itself, which can be saved offline. You don't need to send it immediately, but you can save it in offline, and once you are coming back to an internet zone, you can actually share this entire information in the portal as Barmaji was mentioning, and then you can download the entire Excel file or a PDF file to incorporate that into a detailed project report with the evidence-based survey like CLART, and then the entire design and estimate part. So this tool has been initiated in 2014 and continuously getting updated with the help of the many feedbacks and the field ground truthing. Now the tool is available with 15 states of the country and being used by all of our FES locations, nearly 72 blocks in 9 states for preparing DPRs, even under the NREGA program. Tool has been adopted by 38 partner organizations of FES for soil and water conservation kind of activity. And not only NGO, this tool has already been accepted by Ministry of Rural Development, National Remote Sensing Center, then National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, NIRDP, Hyderabad, and MOU has been executed, and this tool has been used for preparations of DPR by Agriculture Department and Panchayati Raj Department of Government of Odisha, Government of Chhattisgarh, the Panchayat Department again, MGNRE Department of Government of Andhra Pradesh, NIRDPR for 50,000 Gram Panchayats under Mission Antyodaya project, Andhra Pradesh Drought Mitigations Program, then the Government of Maharashtra, Government of Karnataka. They have all used this tool or using this tool for preparing detailed project report under NREGA kind of activities. And we are also working more with this tool day by day, and we have incorporated the big spatial data, which, as I mentioned in my earlier slides, that every 8 days interval we have the data for vegetation changes. Now you can see this is a purple color map where I can actually tell you that this is a high slopey area in Kumbhalgarh Sanctuary, where the only plantation is possible. But the blue color here indicates that here the vegetations reduce drastically over a period of time. So this is your priority zone where you can go for plantation kind of activities. Then we are also using a model, it's called Maxent model of species distribution, have been developed by the Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun. And we have taken the algorithm from them and trying to use it for our location, where if you are standing on a particular locations, it will provide you that what kind of species is suitable here. Just for example, all the tree species are not suitable everywhere. Like the teak is not being found in Himalayas because teak is a plant which needs a different kind of biophysical settings. So this takes the 22 types of biophysical settings of a particular plant existence and then interpolate it that where these kind of settings are available, the environmental settings are available, and based on that this tool also provide you that which species should be there, so the mortality rate of the plantation will be very less. So that is some of the work that is going on in this particular CLAT tool along with this. So these are the different tool and the data platform which we showed you here is available in the platform itself, and you can actually go to www.indiaobservatory.org.in. This portal is available there. From there you can actually explore all the tools that I have shown you, and along with that there are some 20 more tools are also available. You can explore that. You can get the user manual, you can get the uh, other things like I just show you here. Like if you can go here in indiaobservatory.org.in, here all the tools are available. You can get the list of the tool. Just for example, like if I click on the CLAT, you can get the tool from here. You can get the video of the tool, you can get the brochure, case study, and the user manual also. Similarly, for all the tools we have this uh, page already there. You can actually explore it. It does not need any user credential. The tools are open source. The data is open source and it is publicly available. So you can use it for your location, for your easy decision making at the field level. By here, I am ending this particular presentation, and we can actually take some more questions if you have.
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chiranjit ji and Rajesh ji. It was a very informative presentation. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have a lot of questions have come in already, and I will definitely ask you to answer those questions. Wonderful. I think I'm getting many thank you messages also from the audience here. So once again, thank you, Chiranjit ji.
Thanks
Thank you,
to all of you.
Rajesh ji,
Thanks to all of you.
for doing this presentation for us. Looking at the response, it seems that this has been a valuable session for everyone. And what we will do is from Stars Forum side, we will connect with Chiranjeev ji and Rajesh ji, make sure we find a time which is convenient for them, where we can do another session, a follow-on session for those
Sure.
who are going to actually use this. So we will send a message to all the people who have attended the session today and keep you all posted. With that, thank you everybody, and look forward
Thank
to
you
meeting
for
you again.
everyone
Thank
Thank you.
you.
attending.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Have a good day.